Hello and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'll be redrawing a picture of one of my old original characters named Salem. I have a lot to say about her, so in order to keep the intro short, I'll just talk about her throughout the speed paint process. So now, onto the speed paint. I first designed Salem around 2019. I had recently discovered S Comic Maker's YouTube channel, and I took more than a little inspiration from her monster girls. At that point in my life, whenever I saw a cool universe or story, I wanted to make my own version of it with my own characters, even though they were pretty much the same as the originals concept-wise. Salem was the witch of the group, named, of course, after Salem, Massachusetts, where the Salem witch trials took place. I imagined her to be outgoing and friendly, but also quite naive and childish. I also imagined her to be probably the youngest of the group. Her main power is being able to turn into a cat, and you can see her cat form to the left of the sketch of her as a human that I'm drawing over. Even though I drew Salem the least out of all of the characters from her story, I think she has my favorite design. It's cute, it's simple, and it has little cat faces on the socks. I've since scrapped Salem's story, but I repurposed a lot of the characters for my Wattpad book called Feline Friend. It took me so long to get that line right, because I would keep thinking, since scrap Salem's story, like that's a lot of alliteration, so then my brain just died and I couldn't remember what I was going to say next. I remember when I first drew this picture, I was in my room with my mom listening to an audiobook. I don't recall what exactly the book was called, but all I remember is it was a pretty weird book. Like, I thought the book was going to be spooky, but it ended up just being kinda cringe. Regardless, it made this drawing really memorable for me, and to this day it's one of my favorite traditional drawings I've ever done. I especially like this digital remake of it. I think the gradients on her fur look really nice. Salem didn't originally have white at the tips of her hair, just on the tip of her tail, but I thought it would look cooler if I added it to her hair this time. The ruffles on her skirt and sleeves were hard to draw and even harder to shade. They're probably the part of this drawing I like the least, but considering how difficult it was, I still think it turned out pretty good. I don't have much to say until we get to the skin shading, so enjoy a few seconds without my voice. I realized somewhat recently that adding purple to the shading of the skin makes it look a lot better, and I don't know if it's just more realistic or just adds more variety and therefore makes it cooler, but either way, it's made my art look so much better lately. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do for the background, so I just loaded in a pre-made pattern from the asset library, lowered the opacity, and just kinda slapped it on there. I think it looks pretty nice, and it fits her thematically. And with that, my redraw of Salem is complete. And here's the original, and the remake. Thank you for watching, and happy spooky season!